The royal family is no longer appropriate across the Commonwealth, and a republic will come in Commonwealth realms such as Australia, political scientist Professor Jenny Hocking claimed during an interview with Express.co.uk. This morning, Prince William and Kate returned from a tumultuous royal tour of the Caribbean that was overshadowed by protest and calls for slavery reparations. Upon the pair's arrival in Belize, they were forced to cancel a visit to a village, after locals protested over a land dispute involving a charity William is a patron of. Then, when William and Kate visited Jamaica, their arrival was met with an open letter written by 100 prominent Jamaicans calling on William to apologize for the royal family's role in the transatlantic slave trade. During a meeting with the country's Prime Minister Andrew Holness, the couple also told that Jamaica would be moving on to becoming a republic, and fulfill its ambitions as an independent, developed, prosperous country. Kate and William rounded off the tour by visiting Barbados, and their arrival was once again scrutinized, as campaign group the National Reparations Committee called for Britain to pay reparations for its role in the slave trade. The backlash Kate and William received during the royal tour has led to growing speculation as to whether more of the 15 Commonwealth realms may soon seek to become a republic. Professor Hocking, who until last year was on the National Committee of the Australian Republican Movement, told Express.co.uk that the royal family was no longer appropriate in her native Australia, and the country's move to a republic was inevitable. Read more. Royal family live. Kate and William tipped to take control. She said, "It's just no longer appropriate, and we need to be able to swear allegiance to the Australian people and an Australian head of state. I think the day will come because the Australian people choose that, and not because the monarchy is desperately trying to squeeze into some sort of modern notion of a form of government that is actually arcane and belongs in a previous century. The British monarchy is a sort of residual, lingering element of what was once a very tight, interlocking, strong European-wide set of interrelated monarchies. One by one those have contracted, particularly in the last century, and so you're left with this almost inappropriate contemporary form, which has more relevance in the UK but very little relevance in the remaining former colonies." Australia held a referendum on whether to ditch the royal family and become a republic in 1999. Though for years opinion polls had suggested that a majority of the electorate favoured becoming a republic, the referendum was defeated due to division over how the country would select its new head of state. Yet 2 decades later, Professor Hocking insisted that as soon as the model for a new republic is decided upon, the country will sever ties with the royal family. The academic said, "The royal family is much more embedded in both the cultural expectation but also in the way UK politics works because it's much more overt in the UK. Don't miss William's Mother's Day grief flag-bearing Charlotte's Diana let their opinion. William and Kate were heartbroken after George trolled inside Meghan Markle will pull in big guns for new podcast analysis. Your Prime Minister meets with the monarch every week. This is just not a notion in an egalitarian society like Australia that would carry much weight. In a strange sort of way, it's more difficult to make an argument in Australia about why we should be a republic when there's no obvious connection to start off with. What is it we're severing? That again is why this desire has to come within Australia, and what we have to settle on is what form of republic we want. Once we have a model, and I'm quite confident the Australian Republican movement model will be this a model that is supported by most people I think we will move comfortably and smoothly to a republic, just as we've seen in Barbados. Last November, Barbados officially removed the Queen as its head of state and became a republic. In an overnight ceremony, Barbados ended the UK's influence over the island, which had been a hub of the slave trade for over 200 years. This week, during William and Kate's Caribbean tour, the Prince offered the royal family's pride and respect for any other Commonwealth nations wishing to ditch the firm. Speaking during the couple's penultimate night in the Bahamas, William said, "Next year I know you are all looking forward to celebrating 50 years of independence - your golden anniversary. And with Jamaica celebrating 60 years of independence this year, and Belize celebrating 40 years of independence last year, I want to say this. We support with pride and respect your decisions about your future. Relationships evolve. Friendship endures."